Welcome to this edition of the Tax Talk. We help you understand the nitty-gritty of tax administration in Lagos State and bring you up to speed on the workings of the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. My name is Oyinlola Sally, and I'll be taking you through the ropes as usual. The only thing required is for you to stay tuned. Let's quickly check out business news. When we get back, we'll get into the meat of today's episode.
This is business news. In view of the recent downtime experienced on the e-tax portal, the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service has extended the filing of employers' annual tax returns by 1 week starting from February 1 to February 7, 2024. Mr. Ayodele Zubair, the executive chairman of LIRS, conveyed this message in a public notice released by the agency. Statutorily, the filing of annual tax returns by companies expires on January 31 of each fiscal year and attracts steep penalties for defaulters. Taxpayers are hereby advised to take advantage of this extension to perform their civic obligation. This extension is aimed at providing taxpayers with additional time to ensure accurate and timely submission of their annual tax returns. Mr. Zubair urged employers of labor to take full advantage of the extension to perform their civic obligation to avoid penalties and other statutory sanctions outlined in Section 81, Subsection 3 of the Personal Income Tax Act of 2011. According to Mr. Zubair, quote, "We understand that unforeseen circumstances may arise and this extension is intended to accommodate such instances. We implore all employers of labor within Lagos State who are experiencing difficulties in the filing of their annual tax returns to call a customer service center on 0700-2255-5477 or visit the help desk at various tax stations. For further details or inquiries, taxpayers are to visit the agency's website at www.lirs.gov.ng or follow LIRS on social media platforms or contact via email at etaxinfo@lirs.net. The Lagos State government said it will increase the tax net in order to achieve a total budget size of 2.267 trillion naira for the year 2024. The Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Mr. Waptvchannel, will disclose it during the State 2024 budget analysis at the press center in Alausa Ikeja, said this will be achieved through the deployment of technology, economic intelligence, data gathering, analysis, among other initiatives. Mr. George said the total budget size of 2.267 trillion naira will be funded from a total revenue estimate of 1.88 trillion naira comprising of internally generated revenue of 1.18 trillion naira, capital receipt of 94.6 billion and federal transfer of 596.6 billion naira, adding that the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service was expected to contribute 63% of the projected IGR, while about 23% was expected to be generated by other MDAs of government. Also, the state government will invest about 550.68 billion naira to develop and maintain its infrastructure in 2024. The projected target of 1.18 trillion naira from IGR represents a monthly revenue generation target of close to 100 billion naira. He noted that a deficit of 387.12 billion naira was projected to be funded by a combination of internal, external loans. Mr. George said the budget will also address development of affordable housing schemes and urban renewal projects so as to address the housing deficit in the state by injecting a total of 55.92 billion naira, representing a 2.5% of the entire budget. He stressed that there will be focus on some special projects, continuous projects on major infrastructure projects like the Lekki-Epe International Airport, the Omo Creek, Blue and Red Line, etc. Mr. George added that it should be noted that most of these projects will be prioritized. The state's 5-year agric roadmap stands as a testament to this commitment, aiming to bolster support for farmers and enhance overall food systems. This initiative prompted the state to allocate a total sum of 44.3 billion naira towards central food security, fostering projects such as the cattle feedlot project, fish processing hub programs, and wholesale produce hub and market. The Lagos state government has vowed to prosecute residents in the habit of vandalizing infrastructure put in place for public use. The pronouncement came during an inspection by some members of the State Executive Council to number 6 Reeve Road, Ikoyi, where a property owner was alleged to have vandalized a drainage infrastructure recently constructed by the state government. The delegation, which included the head of service, Mr. Bode Agoro, Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Tukubo Wahab, Special Advisor on Infrastructure Engineer Femi Daramola, and Special Advisor on Environment, Mr. Kunle Rotimi Akudu, inspected the vandalized portion of the drainage. Speaking after the inspection, Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Tukumbo Wahab, said residents must be informed that cutting road infrastructure without the permission of the state government is illegal. He vowed that the property owner will be prosecuted to serve as a deterrent to such property owners across the state who may contemplate damaging road infrastructure, all in the name of creating entry and exit point. And that's it on Business News.
Hello, sir. Good evening. How may I assist you?
I made a reservation for a room. My name is Ahmad.
Excellent, Mr. Amodu. A moment, please. You made a reservation for our deluxe suite for 2 nights. That will be 150,000 naira, sir. How would you like to make payment? Cash or card?
Card.
Okay. Thank you. Savings or current, sir?
Current.
Your PIN, please.
Thank you. You don't charge 5% consumption tax here.
No, sir. We don't do that.
Really? You're running a hospitality business and you're not charging 5% consumption tax?
No.
Hold on a minute. Hey, bro.
Alpha.
Yeah, I'm at an apartment in Ogba, and the receipt issued to me did not reflect the payment or deduction of consumption tax.
Oh, really? Thanks for the heads up. I will send a team to investigate.
I mean, they should be penalized.
Attention, all service apartment owners and operators in the hospitality business in Lagos State must charge and remit consumption tax to LIRS. Failure to comply is a contravention of the extant provisions in Section 9 of the HORC Law 2009, which attracts penalties as stipulated in Section 10 and 11 of the same law. Stay on the right side of the law.
Welcome back. Let's dive right into today's topic. On the Tax Talk today, our discussion is centered around building approvals in Lagos State. The role of LIRS. In the studio with me is Mr. Afolabi Cole, Head Public Sector Contract Unit at the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's certainly my pleasure. And how are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you.
Wow, that's good to know. What role does the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service play in the area of building approvals?
Pursuant to Section 85 of the Personal Income Tax Act, as amended, all applicants for a building approval must provide a tax clearance certificate for 3 years preceding the year of application. So basically, the role of the LIRS is to ensure that these applicants are well captured on the tax net and that they're up to date with their tax payments.
Let's take a look at residents who don't live in Lagos. Do they have an obligation to fulfill in the area of their taxation requirements in the state?
For residents who do not reside in Lagos, but reside in other states within the country, we require evidence of their tax payments in those states where they reside. Then we have applications from non-residents outside the country. So for those non-residents that live in countries that the federal government has a double tax treaty with, we normally will process a tax clearance for them if they are able to provide us with evidence of their tax filings in those countries where resident.
Are there specific criteria and prerequisites for the issuance of approvals to applicants who are non-residents?
Yes. So these non-resident applicants can be broken down into 2, which are applicants who reside in other states within the country and applicants who reside in other countries outside. So basically, what we require to see is for applicants who are residing in other states within the country, we need to see the 3 years tax clearance in those states of residence. For applicants who reside outside the country, this can be further broken down into two, which are applicants who reside in countries that have a double tax treaty with Nigeria and those that reside in countries that do not have. For the ones that do not have a double tax treaty with Nigeria, we normally require them to make a tax payment here. And for those who reside in countries that do have a double tax treaty with Nigeria, we normally request for a proof of residence and evidence of their tax filings for the past 3 years preceding the year of application.
Presently, with how many countries does Nigeria maintain double tax treaty?
Nigeria presently maintains a double tax arrangement with 16 countries. And those countries are Belgium, Canada, China, Czech Republic, France, Italy, the Netherlands, Pakistan, Philippines, Romania, Slovakia, Singapore, South Africa, and we have Spain, Sweden, and the United Kingdom. So a double tax treaty basically is a written and formal document between two countries to mitigate against the incidence of double taxation.
Considering that there might be a perception among taxpayers that these figures are arbitrarily determined by LIRS, how does your agency ensure that the assessments for building approvals are fair, and what are the basis for these assessments?
So basically, when we raise assessments for these applicants, that usually means that the applicant is not tax compliant or is not paying the right amount of taxes. And we are limited to the information about the applicant because the Lagos State Fiscal Planning Permit Authority, who are primarily in charge of building approvals, send us this information. So basically the parameters we look out for are the location of the build, the number of units, the size of the build, the volume, the number of floors, and the purpose of the building, if it's for residential or commercial.
Can you provide insights into how tax assessments for building approval clearance have influenced revenue generation in the last years?
Well, to be honest, tax assessment from building approval does not significantly contribute to revenue generation because what we intend to do is more of compliance to make sure that these applicants are well captured in TaxNet, and also to reduce the incidence of tax evasion amongst applicants applying for a building approval. So it's more of a compliance and adequacy thing rather than actual revenue generation.
Mr. Cole, I have been paying rapt attention to a lot of the things you have said so far. Thank you for expanding my horizon.
Thank you for having me.
Well, at this point, we need to go on a quick break. The class continues right after this break. Go nowhere.
Hello, sir. Good evening. How may I assist you?
I made a reservation for a room. My name is Ahmad.
Excellent, Mr. Amodu. A moment, please. You made a reservation for our deluxe suite for 2 nights. That will be 150,000 naira, sir. How would you like to make payment? Cash or card?
Card.
Okay. Thank you. Savings or current, sir?
Current.
Your PIN, please.
Thank you. You don't charge 5% consumption tax here?
No, sir. We don't do that.
Really? You're running a hospitality business and you're not charging 5% consumption tax?
No.
Hold on a minute. Hey bro.
Alpha.
Yeah, I am at an apartment in Ogba and the receipt issued to me did not reflect the payment or deduction of consumption tax.
Oh really? Thanks for the heads up. I will send a team to investigate.
I mean, they should be penalized.
Attention, all service apartment owners and operators in the hospitality business in Lagos State must charge and remit consumption tax to LIRS. Failure to comply is a contravention of the extant provisions in Section 9 of the HORC Law 2009, which attracts penalties as stipulated in Section 10 and 11 of the same law. Stay on the right side of the law.
You're still watching the Tax Talk, and today we are chatting with Mr. Afolabi Cole on the role of LIRS in building approvals in Lagos State. I'm curious to know, Mr. Cole, what are some of the major challenges that applicants encounter during the process of obtaining building plan approvals?
From majority of the applicants' feedback that we get, the usual complaint is with regards to the processing time of the building approval. So while the LIRS maintains a 24-hour turnaround time to process tax clearances for the applicants, we need to ensure that these documentations that are presented by these applicants are verified. And this normally takes 24 hours really. But where or when the applicant does not furnish us with the relevant documents or is not tax compliant, we normally will issue a tax assessment to these applicants. So this might be the reason for the delay sometimes.
24-hour turnaround for building approval is an impressive feat, Mr. Cole. How is the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, LIRS, proactively addressing these challenges to enhance efficiency and reduce the processing time of the approval process within the state?
So the LIRS is currently working in conjunction with the Ministry of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development to develop a model which will require all applicants or applicants who are not already in TaxNet to make an advanced tax payment. So these advanced tax payments are made on the point of providing documents or submitting documents to the Fiscal Planning Authority. So basically, after this approval, the last part unit will issue what we call a 90 days provisional building permit. Basically, 90 days provisional building permit will allow the applicants to go ahead with the build. However, the applicants will need to ensure that they procure a tax clearance certificate from the LIRS before the expiration of the 90 days period.
It has been an absolute honor having you on our show today, Mr. Afolabi Cole.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's certainly our pleasure. We are done with our conversation with today's guest, but the show is not over yet. Please don't change that channel.
Have you had a hard time with taxes and understanding tax administration in Lagos State and the complex nature of Nigerian tax law? Do you know what agency or tier of government collects the various types of taxes? Have you ever found yourself asking any of these questions? Join us for your favorite program, The Tax Talk, your infotainment program.
You're still watching The Tax Talk, and it's time to take you on a little journey. We call this segment of the show Tax Did It. And what we do is to help you see the various projects that your taxes have been put to use on. Up next, Tax Did It.
It's worthwhile to mention that the goal of this project was also to resolve the perennial flooding issues around Ogolonto, Omologede, Ipakodo, and the environs. This contract was awarded to Mrs. Arab Contractors Nigeria Limited in September 2020, while physical construction movement to site took place in January 2021.
Thank you for making this trip happen for us, the good people of the Ipakodo Kingdom, with the historic commissioning of this road.
Our thanks knows no bound. Ikorodu has indeed been good to all of us. Ikorodu has continued to remain a place of reference, a place of heritage, a community that always stand out. Like Kabiyesi had said, is not only strategic, it's important to the entire community of Ikorodu Kingdom. Right from Ogoloto Junction on the Lagos-Ikorodu road when we're coming up onto this junction where we are. Yeah, and you can see we're happy that Messrs. Arab Contractor, within 2 years, have been able to complete this first-class infrastructure. This has been a dual carriageway, completely rebuilt, with first-class drainage infrastructure, with a decompile component also there, and it is, you can see that indeed the real dividend of democracy is being enshrined here today. When people can move on journeys that either take lots and lots of wasted time, and we can reduce the journey time of our communities. They can connect from different parts of the community, you know, and get to their destination within these 4 years. By the grace of God, you will see accelerated development all around the city because of our commitment at ensuring that what we campaign on is a greater Lagos that is rising, and Ikorodu is part of that greater Lagos that is rising.
Hello, sir. Good evening. How may I assist you?
I made a reservation for a room. My name is Amodu.
Excellent, Mr. Modu. A moment, please. You made a reservation for our deluxe suite for 2 nights. That will be 150,000 naira, sir. How would you like to make payment? Cash or card?
Card.
Okay. Thank you. Savings or current, sir?
Current.
Your PIN, please.
Thank you. You don't charge 5% consumption tax here.
No, sir, we don't do that.
Really? You're running a hospitality business and you're not charging 5% consumption tax?
No.
Hold on a minute. Hey, bro.
Alpha.
Yeah, I'm at an apartment in Ogba, and the receipt issued to me did not reflect the payment or deduction of consumption tax.
Oh, really? Thanks for the heads up. I will send a team to investigate.
I mean, they should be penalized.
Attention, all service apartment owners and operators in the hospitality business in Lagos State must charge and remit consumption tax to LIRS. Failure to comply is a contravention of the extant provisions in Section 9 of the HORC Law 2009, which attracts penalties as stipulated in Section 10 and 11 of the same law. Stay on the right side of the law.
All work and no play, they say, makes Jack a dull boy. What will the appropriate Nigerian name be for that saying? Just thinking. Anyways, we go on the streets of Lagos again with our trivia question, and our man is out there to help you tax your brain.
Hi, my name is Nifemi. You're welcome to Tax Your Brain on the Tax Talk. We have an interesting question for the residents of Lagos today. Let's dive right in.
www.lirs.gov.ng
lirs.org.ng www.lirs.gov.ng www.lirs.com. LIRS is a Lagos State Revenue Service.
Thank you so much, LIRS and Tax Folks. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's a wrap for today. I hope you were able to learn something. See you next time.
That's all we have time for on today's edition of the Tax Talk. Remember, you can follow us across all social media platforms with the displayed handles. LIRS is also on social media and can be engaged across all platforms if you need any pertinent information. My name is Oyinlola Sally, and I hope you'll be kind enough to join me on the next edition of the Tax Talk. Bye for now.